physical wealth.
I think we're having some difficulties because we're having some weather today. So bear with us. We're a little late coming on today because we're having some weather issues. But that's not going to stop us, is it? No. Delay does not mean denied. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. So today is March 3rd, 2025, and this is the Adroit Living session of the Erudition. Mental health is physical wealth, and we need to talk about mental health as it relates to our everyday experience. A lot of times people were asking, why is mental health such a big deal? Well, mental health is a big deal because we can see it's a lot going on, and it's disturbing people's mental health and well-being. And when people's mental health starts to become an overwhelmingly obvious problem, it's everybody's problem, because now we don't know what's safe, what's not safe, and where we can go, where we can't go. It's going to be random and it's going to be a surprise. Please be mindful. The weather is choppy here, so we are having a issue with the signal, a bit of an issue with the signal. Anyway, we're gonna press through it. We're gonna press through it because we need this. We need this. It is Women's Month, so I'm going to speak as a woman today. I'm going to rep the women. A lot of times we don't want to say anything, especially not in recording. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna get it out there, because this whole thing, this recording stuff, it's forever. It's like a photo. It's a video, and it's permanent. And a lot of times we don't want to be on record like that. Keep a memory. Just make it a memory. Don't put it on video. But anyway, I'm just saying. Just a little icebreaker, because a lot of times these topics can be a little sensitive. So I'm going to try to, throw in jokes here and there. But I have a few mixed topics for you today because it is Women's Month. That is meaning is Helpmeet Month, okay? Helpmeet time. So as a woman, please understand, I speak in a manner which permits the masses to hear me. A lot of times people are asking, well, why do you talk, the way you do? Why is it that on these videos you're speaking at a level that's below what you would normally do if I was to pay you? Yeah, see, now you don't feel so bad, because if you pay me and I'm talking on a higher level, now see, you don't have to feel bad because I'm not giving away what you pay a lot of money for free. So you see, everybody's happy. I'm just saying, because what difference does it make to speak, but no one can understand you? So when you're speaking to the masses, you have to be very plain and clear. And that's what I'm always trying to aim for on this show when I'm volunteering my time and giving for free. So I'm just saying, I'm making it plain. So if you watching, and if this is your first time watching, go back and binge watch my episodes so you can see some of the stuff and to become a little bit more familiar, and get that peace of mind, help your mental health, and start to help yourself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people aren't going to go out and try to find somebody else to get that help. You know what I'm saying? We all want to try to find ways to help ourselves. That's why those self-help books are like number one in all the books, other than biblical books and stuff like that, religious books. But yeah, self-help books are up there. Okay, speaking of self-help books and helping yourself, I wrote a book, Generational Wealth, Information Asymmetry, and Your Success. You can find it on Amazon or lulu.com, and you can ask for wherever books are sold. It's a good book, so go and get it. I'm not tooting my own horn, but a lot of times people need something tangible to take with them and to pull out whenever they need it. If they don't have the internet, if they don't have something else, they need that physical, tangible copy of something. And this is a really good thing to have physically with you because, yes, it's doing it. Okay. But a large part of the problem of people not speaking as plain for others to understand your level of intellect, it causes things like what we've seen with Kendrick Lamar. Now, if Kendrick Lamar at the halftime show, if he would have been more well known, and if the false stereotypes derived from forced cultural appropriation didn't exist, then fewer people would have been surprised at the level of intelligence displayed by Black people or African American people like Lamar. If more people understood DNA and RNA, then even fewer people than that would be shocked at what Black people can do. African American people need to stop catering to only exhibit the lowest level of intelligence, so it'll stop being so appalling when reality hits. I was speaking on my Facebook page. If you're following me on Facebook, I was speaking to the vital message, the vital signaling of proper representation. When we have proper representation, it shows people that, yeah, we're not necessarily unaware. We are aware, but we're trying very hard to be nice about it. But when you get to the level of fed up that the FAFO era we're in right now, meaning fool around and find out, when you get to that level of fed up, people don't care about nobody else's feelings but their own, because that is them trying to guard their heart and protect their mental health and well-being. And it's all out the window about how somebody else may feel about that, because they're concerned about themselves. And that's the era we're in. That's why this is a great time for Women's Month, for Helpmeet Month, so that we can help people to get it together, get in line a bit more, because, yeah, we need this, especially now, because a lot of people are throwing around terms like, fool around and find out. Possible pending World War III and depression and recession and inflation. And these words are really words and word phrases have meaning. And it's like we understand. And with the whole fed upness, nobody's pulling punches. So I'm trying to be as nice about things as I can. But it's not always possible to exhibit one's highest level of intellect when somebody is fed up. And that's one thing we're seeing a lot of. A lot of people on social media, they're using strong languages such as expletives and dropping the F-bomb. And on mainstream media, we're seeing that a lot now. People fed up. But just because they don't exhibit the highest level of intellect does not mean they're not highly intelligent. But it's to say or to exhibit enough so it's a clear understanding that's had despite the barriers and patience. So that's what we're seeing a lot of when we're seeing people communicating during the time that an era that we're in, when a lot of people are just fed up. Nobody wants to be bothered with somebody's feelings about what's going on, when it's all of these really dangerous word phrases being thrown out there that puts a lot of people in a position to not care about anybody's feelings. It's in every living thing to have discernment. We mostly acknowledge it among service animals. a lot of times people are like, well, how you got a service animal? Why that service animal is supposed to help you with your mental health, and or help you if you're ill or you have epilepsy or something like that. Why is that service animal able to help you? That service animal understands discernment. It's discerning that, my person is under duress. My person is having problems, and it's going to cause such a episode that I need to be near. I need to make sure that I put that person, my person, in a position that's best suited for them. So when this episode happens that they might not be aware that that's coming, that's pending, that's impending, but when it happens, when it finally gets here and is unavoidable, they're in a safe location. So the animal may do something so that it puts their person in a position to either sit down or brace and prepare themselves, because the animal, the service animal, is discerning. Hey, you might need to sit down for this. You might not be, okay if you stand up. You might want to calm down. You might want, so the service animal is discerning, and it gets their person in the position to receive what's coming and get ready for what's happening. And the only way they do that is through discernment. They don't speak the same language we speak. They're not they're not conveying and communicating and transmitting information the same way we do. So I'm just saying. By the way, I forgot to say this is an interactive live stream. So please like, share, comment, please. Ask questions if you want to. If it's about previous episodes or this current episode, if you understand, if you have a service animal, hey, tell us about that service animal. A lot of people don't believe until it's them. That's what the whole FAFO situation we're in right now is really bringing to the forefront of people's minds. You don't understand something until it's you, but don't wait till it's you to try to understand. But I'm just saying, a lot of people's patience have really been tried, and we're not discerning it soon enough to be as helpful as we could. But we also see that level of discernment in people with diverse abilities. We learn to reach one another via discernment, which is not always the norm. A lot of times they say, people with disabilities, I don't call it disabilities, they're just different, and different is okay. They have latencies, and that's okay. But we find a way to reach one another because there's a certain level of innate ability to discern what somebody is saying without them actually having to use the right words to convey what they're saying, what they're feeling, how they're doing, etc. A lot of times when we're participating in brick and mortar educational learning, we forget about our innate ability to discern things, discern information, discern information transmissions. We're busy labeling it and classifying it and saying what somebody can and can't do, which is what we classify as normal or abnormal. It's not a matter of being normal or abnormal. It's about how the whole works together for the common goal, the common good, so that we can communicate. And I know that that's a lot to unpack, and I'm kind of rushing things, but this is a video. You can record it, rewind it, digest it a little bit, then continue to resume. I normally do shows so that it's a lot slower and I unpack things a lot more. But I need to do some things that's more helpful immediately within just that one episode. So I'm trying to rush through these things so that we can do that. So I'm suggesting that you slow it down, pause it, digest it, and even try to get somebody to watch it with you and y'all discuss it. I also made a challenge that people watch my episodes at least 3 times, each time having a different understanding. a different mindset, a different perspective. Take on the devil's advocate perspective. Take on a perspective that's different from the last perspective that you had when you first viewed it. That'll help you as well. In case you one of those type of people like, I don't want nobody to know what I know and don't know and what I understand and don't understand. I get it. So it's many ways to do things, more than one way to skin a cat. But anyway, it's to help you to understand that there's more than one way to learn. And if you think about it, before the word teacher was a label, or the word teacher was an occupation that was paid, you get paid to actually be a teacher and teach people. Before that ever happened, and before it was ever well known, it was already happening. The acts of it was already happening, even though you weren't getting paid for it, even though you would never be fully compensated for it. You were doing it. You were doing the act. The act was already well known. I wrote about it a few years ago a lot. So you can find that if you just search for my name, Tina Phillips, and my free academic writings. So you don't have to pay for everything. The book you got to pay for, but you don't necessarily have to pay to get the understanding and to get the knowledge that you need. If we waited until the world could afford us, our time on this earth would pass before we could ever give the earth and leave that legacy that it needs, the earth needs, and the generations to come need. We can't always do that. Speaking of which, I was talking in a previous episode about how to learn things. A lot of times we are seeing that the Board of Education is dismantling or becoming dismantled, and we're concerned about people's education. We were concerned about people's education before, because the pandemic, and how a lot of people weren't in school anymore. Well, some people were saying their children. Now, I'm gonna speak as a mother, and I learned a few things because of various professions that I had to participate in, because I'm military spouse. And being military spouse, I had many occupations, and it's okay, because each one had a purpose, and I learned a lot from each one, like working with United Cerebral Palsy, for example, and working with people with exceptional needs. I worked with people with exceptional needs long before I ever became military spouse. And I learned that sometimes you have to go above and beyond, especially when you're working with people with extra needs. So there was some children who their parents were working with their children who had these exceptional needs, especially the nonverbal community. The child wasn't learning how to speak because there was a latency. Sometimes it's hearing, sometimes it's just auto ability of various sorts. Clarity comes in different, yes, and clarity does come in different ways, and we really need to be aware of that it's not necessarily something that hinders us, but really it advances us, because we have to then become far more clever, but we have to be willing to work and be patient with that, and grow and advance ourselves as we are also aiding them to be more integrated into our level of understanding. So I was telling most recently, whenever I see somebody have a nonverbal child, I always tell them what I learned. I learned from professional how parents were taught to put their mouth on the baby's mouth and speak slowly and say words so that the baby could hear and feel, use all the sensory perceptions in order to convey information. And it made the baby less frustrated, so the baby wouldn't cry as much, because frustration of the lack and inability to communicate effectively. So that helped a lot. and put the baby's hands on your mouth, on your face, and speak slowly as you put your mouth on the baby's mouth, and speak slowly and speak and say the words that you're trying to say while enunciating very, very clearly so that the child can hear, can feel, can see, and can pick it up a lot better. What are you saying? How are you saying it? How you want me to say it when I'm trying to say it? There's also the method where people who that's not your child and you don't want to be putting your mouth on somebody else's child, that's a whole different category. Okay, put your hands and put the baby's hands on your face and speak slowly and say the words, enunciate clearly, and watch the baby and be close enough to the baby's face so the baby can see and focus and zone in on your mouth so that they can see and hear what you're saying very clearly. A lot of times people don't have the money to pay a professional so they can learn these techniques, but the child and the mother, they need to know these things. They need to understand, how do I get this? How do I become successful? And they become frustrated and they lose patience and they lose hope. But we've been able to reach these people for a very long time. It didn't happen this decade. It's been decades since we've known how to do this. So conveying that is more helpful regardless of whether they're paying you or not, because it advanced us who don't have those problems. It advanced us to understand sensory perceptions and how to get people to learn more effectively despite their labels. Okay, whether they're in honors courses, whether they're a scholar, or whether they're failing and at the bottom of the spectrum in the classroom of pass fail, the pass fail spectrum in the classroom. I've helped a lot of people pass school who passed their level of class, whether it was elementary or preschool or college or even at the master's level. I've even helped some PhDs to understand things because I didn't even know they didn't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't know? I'm talking about a PhD now because I expected the PhD to be like, okay, I know more than you because you have yet to get your PhD and I already have mine. So I'm helping you get yours. But that wasn't the way it was. I actually had to explain things and enunciate. And I felt like I was back in a situation where I'm speaking with people with latencies, with learning latencies. So um, it's not to say just because someone has a label or a title that they're actually capable of understanding things that you're able to understand in the way you're able to understand it. We all are the masters of our own understanding, and that's where the information asymmetry comes into play that I speak about in my book. I speak about it in my book because that was my PhD dissertation and the understanding that I had, which I used to advance the global industrial organizational field and inform the relative theories in business and communication transmission, because a lot of people just don't understand. They read and they only look for the exact wordings that tells them exactly what to do. Everything ain't math. You know how you can get a math book and it's like, oh, and that math is telling you step by step by step, and so you just follow the steps. Everything is not like that, especially when it comes to reading comprehension and writing. So I wanted to talk about a few things about trying to learn these things. A lot of times people, they give up because they don't understand how easy it is. So I want to show you a few things. I'm gonna go a little slow so we don't get too far ahead, so we can keep some people on there. All right. So books like these I would purchase from like Costco. Why am I promoting Costco? Because we love our allies. I'm just saying. So books like these, I would purchase from places like Costco. I don't know if this particular book came from Costco, but Costco does sell them. You can also go to small mom and pop stores where they sell these particular items. So this is there you go. This is a third grade level. Now I'm going to show you some of the things that's in there. This is one of the ways that I have used to homeschool my children. See these things inside. See how easy it is. See the big letters and all that. You can even think outside the box. Let your child trace over the words in the directions and over the spelling words so that they can improve their handwriting. A lot of people was like, well, my kid doesn't do handwriting because brick and mortar schools don't do handwriting anymore. Do it at home. Your kid don't always have to play video games. Your kid doesn't always have to bother you, I should say, because a lot of people were saying kids are a bit bothersome. Well, buy a book like this. It's got everything in it, the basic skills that a third grade child should know how to do. It's got everything from math, reading, writing, spelling, everything you need. And you don't have to wait for somebody to tell you to go get the book. It has math, reading comprehension, English, and writing. It says right there, everything you need. And it really is. And it's fun and challenging. And guess what, parents? You don't have to know how to do everything in that book. The child, just motivate them to know how to do it. Motivate them and keep thinking outside the box. Write, have them to write on top of the words and make little jokes. That's mnemonics. That's what we call mnemonics. Things that help the child to remember what they learned. And praise the child. I don't care what age the person is, because these books, I'm going to show you on this episode. I'm going to show you all the way up to a PhD level. Okay, I'm going to show you. So pay attention, like, share, subscribe. I'm just saying, you don't know what you're getting this time. I'm just saying. So when you go and you show them all these things, let me see if I can find a math section in here. Oh, look at this. They teaching the children how to brainstorm and overlap information there. Compare and contrast. Sesame Street used to do that. And then you have telling time. That's math. But don't worry, parents, because again, in the back, guess what you have? You have the answer key. And the answer key is going to help you and help the child to be more confident. A lot of times, what I suggest is that you look at the answer key as a parent first before you go and critique the child. And you can also let the child go back there and look at the answer key so they can be confident in answering. And then even if they look at the answer key, challenge them to say it in their own words. Say it the way they would say it. Like, okay, you read that. That's good. And that's an accurate answer. Now, how would you tell me in your own words? Just use your own words. Now that you know, use your own words and tell me, how would you say that same thing? And here's some more math of measurements. Look at that. You don't have to take the stuff out of the book, and you don't necessarily have to okay, so to preserve the book, what I would do is I would get some paper, some loose leaf paper. They always have it on sale during school time. So you just buy a whole bunch of paper, loose leaf paper, and have the child to write on the paper just the answers on the paper, so that you can keep these books, so you can pass it down to other homeschool groups when you co-op. Co-op meaning share learning with other families. You can also go ahead and write in the book yourself. I mean, whatever is good or easy for you and your family and how your child learn. You could put the loose leaf paper on top of the book, and on top of the page, put the loose leaf paper on top of the page and have the child to trace over it. Now they can draw. Now they have proper handwriting, even because they can write the words or whatever on the loose leaf paper. And the loose leaf paper, mind you, it has these lines on it. And these lines, it can help them to write reasonable sized letters on the lines, so that when the book is not necessarily under the overlaid on top of the page, then you still have the product. You still have great handwriting and great drawing and more confident child. A lot of times we're also seeing math. So when you get the child to overlay the paper, the loose leaf paper, onto the book and copy the math equation, for example, because that's long math. So you get the child to copy the paper, copy the math equation, and then work it out on their piece of paper. Encourage them to not write so perfect. The answer and how to get the answer is more important than neat handwriting, especially when it comes to math. So you don't really want to have to worry about their handwriting when it comes to that. Now here you can see sometimes they even give you the answer first so they can show you an example of what to expect and how it might look or whatever. But these books are really, really great, and they go all the way up. And that was just an example of the math and everything that was in it, but I didn't show you the math, so I wanted to show you that. And here's some more about the handwriting, sentences, and spelling words, and putting the spelling words in the sentences where they would go. Now, a lot of times people don't know it, but in kindergarten, the kids are taught to read phonetic sounds, sound out the alphabet, and the phonetic sounds that they make. And they're taught how to count from 1 to 100 by ones, twos, fives, and tens, because it's easier to count that way. And then when it comes to multiplication, it gets even easier because they're accustomed to it. So it's a number board that you can use for that. I used an abacus. I used a number board. I used a lot of different things. So don't be afraid to experiment and do some stuff. But this is also fun. It's a dot to dot where the kid can, even adults do this. And it's like small numbers, and you connect the dots, and it kind of already is in order for you already. But it promotes confidence in the child in many ways, because it's not just counting, it's writing, it's drawing, it's following rules of order, logic, it's enhancing formal logic, not just following direction. And it's also aiding critical thinking skills. It's a number of things that makes this helpful. And then at the end, you praise the child for getting it all right. And then these are things that the child can do when you don't want to be bothered and you like, well, you need to find something to do, and video games is not exactly fulfilling enough. So you're like, oh, well, what can I do? This is something you can do. And here is some example of one of my little ones. This is a very old book, having done this. And then you tell them, get creative. Well, go color it in. What colors do you think would go with that? What do you think could enhance this? Use the kind of vocabulary words you want the child to use and implement in their vernacular. I don't care what age the child is. I don't care what their abilities are. Always use the kind of vocabulary words that you want that child to be able to use and understand on a regular. Okay, so this is just one of the things that one of the kids did, and They got praises for it. And they go and they do these little random things that you don't really even see them doing. And there it is. And then look at that. See, get creative with it. And they're like, oh, you tell them, go find one of the pages in there and you can do it. Or you use that as a treat. You say, well, I'm going to pick this time. And next time, if you're good for free time, if you're really good and you earn it because you learn your lesson, I'll let you pick one of the dot to dots to do for yourself as one of your treats for having learned your lesson and don't need instructional time. And then they can go and pick their own picture and say, oh, I want to do this. I don't know what this is going to be. What could it be? So you encourage them to go ahead and do it. And they don't even know. They're not only learning, but they're having fun. They're learning the importance of numbers, and they're learning the importance of following the numeric order. And what is it? Chronological order. They're learning that. They're learning the how vital it is to follow chronological order. And why is it important that this number comes after this one? Why is it important that the 2 looks like a 2 instead of a 5? See, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's fun too. And it's informative, and that interaction between parent and child, or guardian and child, or the adult and the child, there's something about that the child needs. Okay, but here is a 6th grade one. And again, you go to Costco. We love Costco. You go to Costco and you find these books, and it gives you this 6th grade. Now, being military, we relocated often. So each district in each state, each school district, even, because it's subdivisions within the district. So each district had its own requirements and levels for each class and grade level to understand. With that being said, you have to make sure that you have that whole well-rounded education that your child needs. So don't just give a 3rd grader this 3rd grade book. Don't just give a 3rd grader the 3rd grade book to look at. Go ahead and advance them, challenge them, and give them this book if they're in 3rd grade. Yep, that's 3 grades ahead. You're very smart. You're catching on. When you expose a child to something above their level of intelligence, or their expected level of intelligence, or the level of intelligence that we encourage them to have, we will get a far greater response in learning comprehension and the display of learning comprehension than we will any other time. As women, we nurture the children in the way they should go instead of the way that we feel like they should go. You know what I'm saying? This is Women's Month. I'm telling you, us women, we are helpmeets in a way that advances the person in their way. Not in the way that we want them to go, not in the way we think they should go, but what's best for them and in their range. So a lot of times in these books, you may see that your child may know more of what's in that book. Oh, my kid can do that. That's going to be too easy for my child. Get the next couple of levels up. Okay, get the next couple of levels up and teach from those books. Now here you see things like this. A lot of times adults are like, I don't even know that. I don't know how to do that. I can't even do that. Is that being smarter than a 5th grader? Think about this. Every year, lessons get a little bit more challenging. So last year's 5th grade may not be next year's 5th grade. Okay, so the expectations continue to increase because, kids are smarter younger now, especially given the fact that they have tablets, laptops, and things like that. Watch my episode from last week where I explained a lot of those things and tools, and I made suggestions of tools and books and all kinds of things that you could get your child to help advance them and keep them learning despite your level of ability and time and patience. But anyway, we have the same kind of thoughts here with these books. And again, you can see this is the math for this particular sixth grade level where you have long division. Oh my goodness, who doing long division? Put that paper, get you some loose leaf paper, and put this paper over top of the page. These pages are see-through. Put the paper over top. Make sure that the lines line up with the math equation. And then the kid will have really pretty handwriting on top of being able to work out that math problem for themselves. And again, remember, in the back of the book, there we go with the answer key. The answers are in the back of the key. And they have practice tests. The answer key is back here. The practice test is back there. When your child can tell you things that you didn't know that they comprehended, you know you did a good job. When you're like, man, I've been working with this child for so long. I'm trying to help them to be ready for their future, so they can be on the same level as their peers, not the peers of yesteryear where we wasn't learning how to read until we were in at least sixth grade. But now they're learning how to read in kindergarten. They're learning how to read and write in kindergarten. They're learning the 2s, 5s, and 10 timetables in kindergarten when they're counting by 2s, and because that's still multiplication when they're counting by 2s, 5s, and 10s, and when they're saying the alphabet and then they're going through the phonetic sounds, they're getting the groundwork for learning how to read really big compound words. And it's like you weren't able to do all of that till almost high school, a couple of generations back. You wasn't able to do that, but they were able to do that. I mean, if you went to public school, I don't know what they did in private school. I don't know. I went to public school, okay? They was not going to catch me in a private school because back when I was younger, they were like, well, private school kids, they're arrogant, they're obnoxious, they rude, they act like smarty pants and all this stuff that I didn't want to be associated with. And all the cool kids went to public school. So I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm going to be free and go to public school, and I'm going to be cool and go to public school. So that's where I went. So I'm just saying, I don't know what they did in private school. They might have did all these things, but the resources that they have, I understand, is different. However, we're not beholden to just the resources that are provided in the public schools. We can do things ourselves. If we can buy our kids Jordans that cost, I don't know how much money the Jordans cost us. My kids never owned any, and I've never owned any. But if we can buy $300, $350 pair of gym shoes that ain't gonna do nothing but wear out the same way as the ones that cost 50, 60 bucks, hey, then we can get these little books. These little books that don't cost even $10, okay? And we see here where we have all of these things that we say, oh, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. You can't fit a size 2 Jordan that you paying $300 for. But you buying it for your kid and you encouraging your kid to wear it. So stop saying what you can't do and using that as an excuse for why you're not letting your child do it or you're not motivating your child to do it. I'm just saying, because you worried about people shutting down the schools. I'm telling you right now, you might not need the school. Now look at here. See this? And there's very easy directions as to what the child needs to know how to do it and learn how to do it. And it's easy. It's easy. Why? Because the answers are right there for you, so you can feel confident in what you know. You don't have to guess. It's not a guessing game. And nobody wants to guess if they right or if they wrong. Guess if they helping or if they actually harming. You do your kids' schoolwork for them because you sick of them, and you turn out to get the kid an F when the kid could have got a better grade if they did it by themselves. Don't worry about that. The answers are right here in the back of the book, and it tells you exactly what page you found each one of the answers on. Look at that. Look at that. It'll tell you exactly where you can find those things. And then there's the practice test in the back as well. Look at that. Look at that. At under $10. You can't beat that kind of education for under $10. And you don't have to know it either. You don't have to know it. So it's not a bother to you. I'm just saying. But then we have a higher level. We have high school, and we have the SATs. This one is for my current children who are in high school. This is the SAT prep for 2025. They come out with these every year, and they offer, I'm not promoting anything. I'm not sponsored by anyone. So this is not that. Okay. I'm not sponsored. I have not accepted any sponsorships. I appreciate the offers, but I have not accepted anything because I like not being sponsored because I don't want to pull any punches. I don't want to lie. I don't want to tell people who to do what with or whatever. This is what I do. And because this is what I'm doing, I'm telling you what I do. But there's other suppliers that, do these things. The basic foundation of what I'm saying is for you to get a grasp on what I'm saying instead of thinking about exactly what I have and you trying to go out and get that exact thing. But this is a really good book because they have reviews and people tell you their experiences. Their lived experiences are more valuable than the advertisement from the companies and the organizations who want to promote what they want, regardless of logic. I'm just saying. But this book, it also provides stuff digitally. So that you can go online and you can encourage your child to go online so they're more confident in practicing how to do something. So when it comes to doing it for themselves as an independent learner or going off to that class, that school or whatever, that test site, and it's normally at a school, and they go there and now they're like, I don't know how to do this. I can't do this. Well, they had that practice because they went online and they did it and it was more familiar. So there's something familiar about it that puts them a little bit more at ease. Now, a lot of times we're like, well, I don't even understand it, so I can't do it. But remember what I told you, the answers are in the book. You don't have to know how to do it. You could do it two ways, one or two ways, or you can do both. You can look at the questions, just read it. Don't try to answer it. Read it, then go and look at the answers. Look at the answers so you don't have that misunderstanding being your first impression, because it's harder to relearn than it is to learn. So when you have to relearn to do it the right way, it's more harder for you to grasp the concept that, oh, wait, that initial way was wrong and this is right. So now you confused and you're like, which way was right again? I don't really remember which way was the right way. I know a lot of moms have felt that way. A lot of women have felt like, well, I don't know if I'm guiding them the right way, if I'm telling them to do the right thing, but I'm trying to help them. What do I do? What's the right way to do this? This book is so easy. It is so easy because it gives you the answers. So you can go right to the answer, read the answer. And this book tells you why each thing was right and why whatever was wrong was wrong. Okay, so it'll ask you the question, and then it'll tell you why A was wrong, why was B wrong. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it, if you can zoom in. I try to keep little pencils in there where I leave off with the kids and helping them to understand. So let's look at, oh, this pencil is just something just there. I lost the page. But a lot of times when the kids are having some difficulties learning, or they're stuck on a subject, what I do is I'll get this book. I'll find that exact thing that they had that looks like that, and I'll go to this book and I'll show them what this book says and how this book is helpful and telling them and directing them and redirecting them, and it helps a lot. Okay, so what did I mean by it'll tell you what's right or wrong? You see here, it says why A or B or C was right or not the best answer, and it'll tell you this is why this particular answer was the right answer. So there's no guessing games. And you know, with multiple choice questions, they always have the best answer. They have the answer that's right. They have the answer that's wrong. They have the answer that's partially right, but not all the way right. That's what they call the best answer. That's why they say select the best answer. I know that kind of verbiage is kind of tricky for a lot of people. It's tricky for all of us, so don't feel bad. Okay, and then you have things like this, where it's given a comprehensive review to tell you what you should already know. I'm trying to make sure I put it up clear enough so people can see it. Um, it's so many pages that I don't mind showing you, because guess what? You still got to go out and get the book. So it's not like I'm doing, something bad or whatever. But this book is not just, like I said, it's not just for high school students or people who are going to take the SAT, but it's for anybody who want to learn and know. And you don't have to tell everybody what you know or how you found out or whatever. But this is what I've been doing for years and helping many people to learn and understand and comprehend things that may be above their pay grade. But here you even see these little complex math um, equations. And you're like, well, I never know how to do anything like that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I'm telling you how. And then it even has, look at this. Look at this. Part 2, how to crack the reading and writing section. I wanted to make sure I said that right. I'm reading backwards, y'all. The camera isn't exactly telling me the right way. So, and I don't know if you can see it the right way that it is. I'm losing the pencils that I had in here that marks the spots where we were. But yeah, it's telling you reading and writing introduction, the reading questions type 1, 2, and 3, and structure, reading questions type 4 through 8, information and ideas, advanced reading skills. It is breaking it down for you. Okay. And then there's the reading and writing introduction. There's a part on the test where children or whomever is taking the test has to do a writing section. Now I'm gonna break down how you do the writing. So get a pen and paper, because I don't have this written down, so it make it easier for you. First thing you want to do, because they don't section it off so that you can structure the paper the way it's supposed to be structured. They want you to show them that you know how to structure the paper. So you want to make sure that you're spacing the header paper. So there's the first page of any kind of thing that you write. Let's take this book of knowledge that I was talking about on the last episode. Let's take this, for example. So you see how the first thing you have is that introduction page. Well, that's what you need to have in every paper that you write, especially for the SAT or any academic writing. You need to have that introduction page. So there in that introduction page should be your title, and it should be centered, and you should have your name on there as the author of whatever the work is. See, on the next page we have it there. Um, so there would be your name. Um, so make sure you have that. So I'm just saying, and then you want to make sure that you are putting the information. So in the first paragraph, let me see if I can find something that has a big enough paragraph here. So here in the first paragraph, I'm bumping into everything that I'm running out of time. In the first paragraph, you want to make sure, see here, this, let's think this is the first paragraph. The first paragraph, you want to make sure you restate the heading right there because it's going to be on a different sheet of paper, the following page. So you have your, you repeat the title, and then you start your paragraph and make sure you indent. You have that little 5 spaces called an indent. And in this first paragraph, what you're going to do is you're going to say 5 different things, maybe 4, because you need 5 sentences to make a paragraph. In the first line, you're going to introduce your topic. What is it that you're talking about? And don't make it too long. And then you're going to give 3 to 4. Now, this is the fifth, this is the introduction. 3 to 4 topics on that idea that you have. One topic. Let's say we're talking about how to read and write when you have inability to do so or don't have the resources. So first, the topic is going to be how to write when you do not have resources. One, you're going to need to find a laptop. That's your first sentence. Sentence number 2, you're going to need to find sales on sources or materials that you need. 3, you're going to need to have a way to check, to verify the validity of your work. And the 4th sentence can be something else that you need, such as time or something else like that. And the 5th sentence sums all of it up in maybe something funny, something memorable, so that your writing sticks out from everyone else's. So now you have, and you can make it even a exclamation point. That 5th sentence, make an exclamation point, make it a question, make it something exciting to exhibit sentence variation, which is vital to exhibiting the level of writing ability that you need to have at the high school or college level. You need to show sentence variation. So you have now all 5 of those sentences. The 5th one, mind you, is just something that sums everything up and leads into the following paragraphs. So this first paragraph, you can have a header or you don't need one. You just go right into it, branching off the first sentence, that the first topic that you introduced. Now you introduced the topic, but you had 3 different things that you talked about. So the first one that you talked about, so we have the introduction sentence and the conclusion sentence in the first paragraph. So we'll take those 2 out. And now you have your 4 topics that you talked about. So this first paragraph will be your first topic. It's going to elaborate as much as you can on your first topic. Your second paragraph is going to elaborate on the second idea that you had in your first paragraph. So you're always going back to that first paragraph and you're getting what you said out of there, so you don't have to think anymore. There's no need to brainstorm. There's no need for all those circles and all those things that people be telling you, well, do a brainstorm and do this. No, very plain, very simple. Anybody can do it, whether you have a learning ability or not. You keep going right back to your first paragraph where you already laid out the groundwork and the grassroots of having something that you say, okay, Well, I lost track of what I was writing. Now I have writer's block. This is going to fix your writer's block. If you're a writer, you have a ability to lose track because you had to go do something else and came back to it. You had to go to the bathroom, couldn't hold it. And it's test time, but they paused the test, but you still got to go back and get back in it. You will still be able to do it. This is how I got a 14-year-old to qualify and pass the entrance exams. But this is not just for that, it's for anybody. So you keep on going back to the first paragraph until you've gotten all your topics together, and then you come to your fifth sentence in the first paragraph, and then now I'm on the summary. Now the summary can be the main points of each one of your paragraphs, or it can say the conclusion, which is, well, since we were talking about how to learn, it can be, well, the reasons why you want to learn is because this. The reason why you want to have the resources available is because of this. The reason why you want to find a sale is because of this. So the conclusion sentence can be the conclusion to why you're doing all this other stuff, or it can be a summary, and the summary only summarizes or restates the main points in each one of the paragraphs. So you don't never ever have to have writer's block. You never have to have a writing assessment where you don't excel above expectations, because now you understand the rules. Have sentence variations, which is exclamation points, jokes, questions, or something that makes your paper stand out, and this particular structure. And make sure you have that indentation in each one of the paragraphs. Now you have what you need so that you can be just as intelligent as if you'd have sat in school for 5 hours and they explain these very same things to you. Now remember, like, subscribe, and share. And this is Women's Month. I'm just like any other mom, any other woman, any other Helpmeet. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to help you so you can have that mental health you're looking for. So you go out and rewind this, share this episode with somebody who may need it and don't know it. Share it with somebody, and then they may tell you, if they went out and paid somebody to tell them all of this, they may say, man, wish I'd have saw this before I paid all that money. I wish I'd have saw this before I spent all them hours trying to learn this stuff. All you need is a book that has the answer key in it. Go directly to the answer key, read what they have there. Then go back to the questions and see, can you apply your own ability to remember and to word phrase it the way you would say it, as opposed to exactly what they said. Challenge yourself. Watch this video more than one time with different perspectives. I know I threw a lot of stuff out there at you, but Helpmeet, we juggling a whole lot. We juggling many hats, and we're trying to do the very best we can in the small time we have so that you understand where to get your help from. And remember, if you can't figure out how to express, you need help, help yourself first. Try to figure out what it is you need first. Then seek out someone who can help you to get better with whatever it is you decided that you needed help with. Don't just go willy-nilly, because everybody out here, even people who are trained to help you, they don't necessarily possess the ability to help you. So keep looking. Don't stop just because one person wasn't able to help you. Keep looking for the answers you need to get the help and the mental health that you need. Don't worry about these schools shutting down. Don't worry about how you gonna learn now. Don't worry about that. Look at these episodes. Binge watch some other episodes. I'm showing you. I'm trying to help you. And if you need more help, we can go over some of these books on some of these episodes, and I'll show you in great detail exactly how. And we can, share some tips, because this is interactive. All right. So comment, say something. I'll see it. I'll try to get back to it and answer it, even though I'm not online very much, but I am online when I can. But remember, this is all in the effort to help everyone understand mental health is physical wealth. See you next episode.
Mental health is physical wealth.